What's going on, guys? Shine Obsessed here. It's been a while since I've done a video, guys. Just been busy doing a lot of things, work, did some garage updates, which I can show you guys if you want to take a look here. I decided to go ahead and do my flooring in the garage. It's a bit dirty right now. It's been a couple of weeks and I've been driving in out here. We've had some rain, but turned out really nicely. I went with something a little different than some of the more well-known brands, and I went with a company called Laticrete. They have a product called PermaGuard Max, and they also have PermaGuard Plus. I decided to go with the Max because it was the supposed best they offer, but it went down pretty well. Really good product. I went with the PermaGuard Max coating, then I went with the top clear coat with the traction additive. I've done this before in my garage and with some of the other big box store brands, and without the traction additive, and I was nice and glossy before I did the traction additive, but when you put the traction additive in, of course, it kind of knocked down the gloss a bit, but I prefer that. It's safer. Some of the other coatings I've done have been slick when, you know, there's bad weather, there's rain, you know, if it's cold out and there's water on the floor, it can be a little bit slick. So I did the traction additive, which knocked down the gloss, but all in all, turned out well. I really like it and it looks good. So we did some rearranging, some other things in here. Still got some work to do. Gonna add some more shelving, but that's what I've been up to. But I was out washing the car today and I decided to give you guys an update on some of the products we have on panel. I use my vehicle as a kind of canvas, so to speak, to test different products. So I wanted to update you guys on some of the things you've seen me add to different panels on the car and how they're looking as of right now and how long they've been on the vehicle. So let's start with the front of the car. We got the hood, car's so it's freshly washed, and as you remember, we put the Nanoskin T1 top coat on the hood, and that's been there roughly 4-ish months. Still holding up well. And as you can see, it's beading and sheeting nicely. Again, the car is just freshly washed, it's clean, panels are clean. And on this panel, on this front quarter here, we've got the Poor Boys World coating. That's surprisingly, it's super hydrophobic, nice and slick, left the surface shiny, and that's holding up well also. And that's about the same time frame, about 4 or 5 months old. Now, as you can see, that runs off the panel really well. Now the rest of the driver's side of the vehicle, front door, rear panel, is covered in the 22 PLE, I believe it's HPC. It's been there for over 2 years now, and check this out. 22 PLE is holding up exceptionally well. Again, it's been 2+ years, and it's holding strong. And it was only at the time rated as a 2-year coating. Their newest offerings, consumer offerings, are, I believe, a 3-year. We're going to get some of that in soon. They have one called Insanity that I really want to check out and see if it lives up to the hype. But all in all, 22 PLE makes great coatings and great products. And I'm really, really impressed with the consumer line. It's been, like I said, 2+ years, and holding up really well, especially down in the lower sections of the door panel, because that's where you typically start to see it degrade, and it's still holding up really well there. Now, on the trunk, we've got that is the Nanoskin T1. Still doing really well there. Again, that's still at about the 4-month mark. Down here, we've about 2 months here. We have the 3D ceramic coating on the bumper. Still performing well. It's only been a couple months, so as you would expect, it's still hanging in there nicely. Let's go to the other side. Almost forgot, on the roof. Now, this is where we have the Dynawax ceramic serum. That's been about a year, so pleasant surprise there that the Dynawax is still holding pretty strong. Not super crazy hydrophobic like you saw on the other side with the 22 PLE, but at a year and at that price, I'd say it's a good product. Now, on the complete passenger side of the vehicle, we've got Gtechniq EXO by itself. We didn't do Crystal Serum Light as a base, we just did the EXO, and it's holding up well as I would expect, and this has been about a year with the Just EXO by itself. So there's the Gtechniq EXO. Still holding up great. It's been a year. I knew the products were great, but I don't think I could remember ever doing EXO as a standalone. And as you can see, at a year's time, it's still holding up really well. The wheels on this side of the car, I had a little bit of the Dynawax left over, so I decided to coat these. It's been about 6 months. So it's holding up fairly well on the spokes of the wheel, but the barrels, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's still shedding water on the barrels a bit. Look in close there. And on the spokes, the lips, not so much, but it's 6 months. It's not too bad. Again, it doesn't say that it's designed for wheels, but anything that's clear coated you could probably apply to. It's just probably not doable enough to stand up to the beating that's going to take on wheels. And I only did one side because I was comparing some other products on the other side. The other side I was just doing some sealants just to see how well they hold up. And they've held up surprisingly well on the spokes. We'll go over there in particular. Actually, looks like this one is dead. This one was the old version of the Turtle Wax Seal and Shine that I put on the wheels, and that one looks like it's dead. And here we have the front wheel. We've got the updated version of the Turtle Wax Seal and Shine. It's been about 4 months since I put it on both wheels, and I use the updated version on the front wheels, and they tend to get dirtier than the rear, because when you apply your brakes, you're doing more brake application on the front than you are the rear. And surprisingly, you can see here around the spokes, we still got some decent beating. But of course the barrels are pretty shot in terms of durability, but I expected that. I just wanted to, I just like to do different testing, but on this Spokes, still getting some beating, so I'm pleasantly surprised. So that's where we are, guys, with the product updates and what I have on the vehicle. I figured I was doing a quick wash. Why not let you guys in on what we're doing and how it's looking, so you guys can see firsthand some of the testing and what I like to do in terms of product testing, and seeing how I like to do real world. Throwing chemicals at it doesn't really tell me a lot, because they're not going to see all those types of chemicals, especially in that concentrated on the vehicle. You may get a little bit of stuff from the road and driving in the rain, but not as concentrated as that. They're fun to watch. Now, don't get me wrong, but I just want to give you guys some real world first-hand updates on the products. Have you seen me add to the vehicle and how they're holding up? So see you guys in the next one.